Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk to you about the importance of properly humidifying your guitars. And of course, we could take the other side too, dehumidifying. Either way, you're still humidifying, you're just controlling the environment, right? Now, the most susceptible of all guitars, of course, are acoustics, more than any other guitar. And that also includes your full hollow body electric guitars, because they're technically like an acoustic electric in a sense. Semi-hollow bodies, you have like a solid block that goes right down the middle here, and then so only your sides are hollow, basically, right? So not much is going to get disturbed in the middle of a semi-hollow body. Now solid electric guitars, of course, solid bodied electric guitars, they usually have issues that take place in the neck joint, okay? Bolt-on necks are very notorious on electric guitars, and you may need to shim or unshim a neck or alternate a shim on a neck in a solid electric guitar like this Telecaster. This time of year I actually have to have a little shim back here to lift up, okay, because of the way the wood reacts, okay? And then the opposite may take place in the summer. It depends on what the summer weather is like too. I may end up being able to keep that shim in there all year. It kind of varies, right? Because in this area, you know, this is the most sensitive to movement with the neck because of all the tension between the headstock and the bridge, right? It pulls, so it's kind of like pulling a bow and arrow, right? But movement happens in wood regardless on any guitar all the time. And but the crucial part about the electric guitar for the solid bodies and your semi-hollows, of course, the very crucial part is going to be in your neck. You got to make sure that that stays humidified, otherwise you get what's called fret sprout, right? Now we do know that even high-end guitars have come right out of the box with fret sprout because of a crappy fret job. Does happen, but the majority of the time we always get great fretwork. And I've seen great fretwork on cheap guitars. I've seen crappy fretwork on cheap guitars too. But fret sprout does nonetheless happen at one point or another in the history of your guitar where the neck gets a little dry, so you need to humidify. Now there's a lot of different ways to humidify a guitar to keep it balanced. And the balancing point is between 40 to 70% max. So maximum means 70%. And you'll find that most manufacturers will agree with that scale area. And as long as you keep it within that area, you should have little movement as possible, right? When a guitar becomes very dry, the necks shrink in. And on acoustic guitars, and of course your full hollow body electric guitars, your top can sink in if it's too dry, okay? You can also do it, I think it can do it if it's too wet too, with sinking in. But I do know right now I have a guitar that's actually too dry, and what's happened is in this area, okay, kind of down the path this way and then it's spread out this way, it's actually sunken in. And so what happens there is the action gets really low. So you'll know which way it's going to go. And of course that caused a lot of buzzing up in here. So I adjusted the neck and I got rid of the buzzing, which was fine. But then I started playing anywhere down here. So you got 12, 11, 10. So between the 10th and the 14th, I was getting some alternate buzzing and really bad on the low E. Especially between the 13th and the 11th was really bad. The D and G's were being affected. The other strings didn't really seem to be affected in this area. So I didn't realize what was going on. I readjusted the neck and I'm still getting buzzing here, but I didn't even know what the buzzing here at the time. I was more concerned about this because I was at practice, and I've never had an issue with this guitar before. And it's kind of like, well, this is kind of new. And so I muddled through practice, come home, I adjusted the neck, got rid of all the buzzing here. Now, because something like this happened to me, I went and I checked every string, every fret, all the way to the end, and that's where I discovered the problem in this little confined space. And it didn't matter which way I adjusted the neck, and it wouldn't fix it. So I thought, well, maybe it's just the gauge of strings, because I put 1152s on it, and funny thing was, my other acoustics have 1152s. They have no issues. But see, that's the thing, not all guitars are equal, okay? And it doesn't even matter if they're made out of the same woods, because there really is no same exact wood, even in the same tree, okay? That's a whole other video, so we're going to try not to get too much into that. But anyways, to no available, I changed the strings back to 1253s, which is what that guitar originally came with. Gave it another crack. Of course, I had to reset things with 1253s, so I had to, do one adjustment. Now I got to do another, but it wasn't working. So I took it into the music store. I thought I still had my warranty on it because I buy extended warranties, and which are really good because some companies offer them. And but it turned out I forgot to renew the warranty on this one, so it's like, darn, won't be forgetting that stuff again. So anyway, they look at the guitar and it appears to have a hump. So it's like, okay. And so how do we fix this? So he tried to make some adjustments to the neck. Of course, I told him it won't work, and he tried it anyways, and said, okay, I agree, it's not going to work. So leave it with me. So the other tech came in, and I talked to him. He took a look, and he says it's not a hump. He says what happened was, the other guy was right. The top is definitely sucking down here, but it's actually all the way throughout because it's now pulling at the fretboard, and it's pulling the fretboard down. So that's what gives you the appearance of a hump. So all this is all straight from here to about here, but then this has been humped over. Now it's not on this guitar. This is my Baby Taylor. I'm just using this as an example to show you. So my other guitar, actually, it's different proportions, so it's in the other area. And so anyway, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this guitar, and I figure if I got to spend more than $100, it's firewood. Strip the good stuff, and keep the electronics for another project, and put the thing in the pit. So, they're okay, and there was a little tiny bit of a lift, just a smidge, where a piece of paper would just get under just at the end edge. Okay, well, that's probably because that wasn't glued there from the factory anyways, okay, which can happen. That has nothing to do with it. It's not pulling the bridge at all, this way, but with the top sucking down here, if it doesn't get sucked back up, it could eventually cause a problem with the bridge. So I've had trouble with humidity in this room, trying to keep it at a good rate in the winter time. Summertime, I have plenty of humidity. I'm running a dehumidifier all summer like mad, just to keep the humidity under control. And in the winter time, I'm trying to push as much as I can in. And today I'm sitting at 36%. It was at 48 this morning. I've had my door open to the studio for the last hour, so it was actually a lot higher, and the humidity leaves really quick when you open a door. So all right. So now we got to deal with this and that and the next issue and what's next. And so anyhow, I've got a humidity pack in it. It's just one of those sound hole humidifiers with a little sponge you soak. And I have really soaked it to the point where it's not, pissing water out. But I threw the guitar into the case, put the humidifier in it, locked it up, under the couch it goes. And so I've been checking on it off and on, and it's getting better. So now I've been able to add a pile of humidity inside here that's not normally getting at it, apparently, and it's correcting the top. And that's how you correct that, which once the top starts to pop back up, it's going to straighten this back out in here, and I'll be fine again, right? Because I've never had problems. But of course, I never really played higher up in the registers on that guitar either before. But it should cure the problem. If it doesn't cure the problem, but everything else straightens out, then all I have to do is get a radius sanding block with the radius for that neck, sand them all down, flatten them out, re-crown them, and we're all good again, you know? So not a big deal, not a real huge expense. And being that I generally work on my own guitars unless they're under warranty, because I do have guitars that aren't under warranty, and I'm always buying, you know, used guitars, you know, deals and stuff. So I mean, I do my own work on my own guitars. I've got the tools for it, and I've worked on other people's guitars in the past, and once in a while I still do. But I know how to do it. And but the other tech, who's also a friend, he told me, get a radius block for that neck. He says that is going to be your best friend, and it'll get them dead even, dead curves all the way, perfect. He says that's your best way to do that, and then crown them all up. You're good to rock and roll at that point. It may or may not come to that point to do it, but now it's got me paranoid about all my guitars, so now I'm always constantly checking my guitars now. My other acoustics have never had a problem. My wife's acoustic doesn't have a problem. She actually leaves hers out in the living room on a stand, okay? And so she's had zero problems, and it's kind of like, well, we got one fluke. But the thing is, not all wood is equal, and her guitar is made out of the same types of wood, okay? Which makes no difference, even if it came from the same tree, because even your tops are never a consistent thickness from one guitar to another in the same model. Same as your sides and your backs and your necks, you know, nothing is 100% consistent, which is why every guitar, even the same model, sounds different, plays different, feels different, okay, reacts different to temperature and humidity. So I'm thinking I may invest in another humidifier to help really push the levels up in here, especially in the winter time. I want to try and keep it at least 50%, 55%, even throughout the entire house, because I think that would actually be the best solution. So I definitely have to invest in another humidifier. But I've also got mine cranked up a lot higher now, so now I'm filling the thing like 3 times a day as opposed to once every 2 days. So I'm really pounding the humidity in here to keep my guitars all safe and secure. And even electrics, they're affected as well. But like I said, a lot of that effect can happen at the neck joint, but also, of course, at the main neck. On any guitar, you know, the necks will shrink or they'll expand. Expansion isn't such a big deal, but the shrinkage is a real big deal, because once a neck starts to shrink and you rehumidify it to bring it back, it doesn't come back 100%. So you may still have to do some, you know, a little bit of cleanup, but not as much, right? Because your frets don't actually move. It's the wood that's moving. Your frets are metal. They're not moving anywhere, right? So either way, a little bit more on humidity. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention too is, of course, I just bought a new guitar the other day too, yesterday, and it is actually solid top, solid sides, solid back, so no lamination. The only thing that'll laminate on that guitar is the Stradivon neck, okay? Now, if you don't know about Stradivon, it's something that Martin's been doing, where it's like thousands of layers of wood all meshed together, and then they cut out of that blocks for making necks. And it makes for a much stronger neck. It's like, oh, several times stronger than just a straight normal piece of wood. And it resonates pretty good, you know, so that's a good sign. There's still some resonation there. But, and it makes for an interesting design. They can have it show more natural, where you see all the lines really nice, and the pattern of the different colorations is really cool. Or they can just, you know, hide it, stain it, whatever, paint it up. But Stradivon necks are really, really good and strong and stable, so they're not going to move too easy. They also have very minimal chance of trying to shrink because of so many laminated layers. It's virtually impossible for it to shrink. It still could, I imagine, but it's going to take a lot more torture than a regular solid piece of wood on the neck would, of being dried up. So that's kind of a nice little benefit there for Stradivon necks. However, with the guitar having a solid top, back, and sides, which you get that usually on higher end guitars like the one I got and above, these are even more super sensitive to humidity than a guitar that only has just a solid top. And we found that out too, because before I brought the guitar home yesterday, I was playing it in the store, and I really wanted to listen to this Martin, you know, because I've been kind of, you know, him and on. But I decided in the end I was going to buy it, but I got the tech to adjust the neck to set it a little straighter, so I'd pull the strings down closer to the fretboard a bit, and it's playing beautiful, right? So of course I get it home, I let it climatize to the house in the case, I finally get that done, and pull her out of the case, plays beautiful, did my video for you guys on that one, and that's my new Martin Dreadnought Road Series, or DRS1 guitar. Anyway, so put it back in the case for a while, take it out later on in the day, and all of a sudden I got a couple frets buzzing in here. Okay, well it's now climatized for my house, so guess what? Now I gotta find my Martin Allen key, which I finally found, and I had to loosen the neck a little bit to lift it up a bit. So about a 3/4 of a turn is all it took, and everything's perfect, so I don't have to worry about it now. And then today, of course, we went out and got a sound hole humidifier for it. Now, solid body like this, unless you can constantly keep your house or your area at a constant level without glitches, you know, above the 40 and above to upwards to 70, it was suggested to me by the Lutherie at the store to keep it in the case and get case humidifiers, because just the case alone, it can actually dry out your guitar, because the hard case is wood, it's going to suck you the humidity, right? So he suggested either gel packs or go with the sound hole thing. Gel packs, you only have to, you know, worry about them once every, I think it was about every 3 or 4 months, the ones he was talking about. But the sound hole style one, it's a sponge that uses water, so of course you're constantly, you know, every probably 2 days, I guess, I'm going to keep an eye on it and see how often I have to re-dampen the sponge. But that'll also help the guitar through the winter time. Summertime, I told him, I said, I got really humid issues, so I'm already into the 50s, 60s, 70s, no matter what, even with the dehumidifier. So he says, well then, that's when you can hang it on the wall in the room. Otherwise, keep it in the case during the winter, because that kind of a body is way super sensitive to movement, more so than just having a solid top on a guitar. So anyways, that's some information for you guys. When I learn stuff new too, you get to learn it. Now I know a lot of this stuff that I've been talking about, but what I didn't know was what was happening and how the extent was. And it was kind of weird that it only happened to just the one acoustic in my collection. It was like, that's really strange, you know, because I've never ever experienced that, where a fretboard in this area could actually dip like that, and it's like, yeah, we need to fix this. So, but anyways, that's all I got for you. So if you have questions, you know, as always, feel free to ask. I'll do the best I can to help. As I find out more new stuff that I don't know about, then I'll definitely let you guys know too, right? And we'll just keep things progressing. And so anyway, so next time, keep rocking. Catch you later.